If you're over 60, this message could quite literally save your life. Most people think stroke happens suddenly, but as a neurologist, I can tell you, it builds quietly, often while you sleep. And the truth is, one common habit that many seniors do every night without thinking could be raising your stroke risk by forming blood clots overnight. Clots that can travel to your brain while you sleep or the moment you get out of bed. The danger? You won't feel it. There's no pain, no warning, just a sudden loss of speech, vision, balance, or worse, consciousness. And by the time it hits, the damage may already be permanent. I've seen it happen to too many patients, good people who did everything right but never learned how small daily habits, especially in the evening and early morning, can silently become deadly. In this video, I'll count down the 6 habits that dramatically increase blood clot-related stroke risk overnight, and how you can protect yourself with just a few simple changes. Stay with me until the end, because what you do tonight might decide whether you see tomorrow clearly or not at all. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 1. Sitting or lying till too long in the evening. If you're over 60, what you do between dinner and bedtime could silently decide whether you wake up healthy tomorrow or not at all. I recently treated a patient named George, 72, a retired truck driver from Indiana. He lived alone, enjoyed watching baseball, and every night after dinner he'd settle into his recliner for hours. He'd sit there watching TV, sometimes dozing off, barely moving until it was time for bed. One morning, he didn't wake up the same. George had suffered a massive ischemic stroke caused by a blood clot that traveled from his legs to his brain while he was asleep. His right side was paralyzed. His speech was garbled. His independence gone. And it all traced back to one habit he didn't think twice about: being still too long after dinner. You see, when seniors sit or lie for extended periods, especially in the evening, their circulation slows dramatically, particularly in the lower limbs. The calf muscles, which act like a second heart to push blood back up toward the chest, stop contracting when you're still. Blood pools, it thickens, and when it stagnates long enough, it clots. In medical terms, we call this venous stasis, a leading cause of deep vein thrombosis, DVT. And what's terrifying is that these clots don't always stay in the legs. If one breaks off, it can shoot through the bloodstream like a bullet, blocking blood flow to the lungs, causing a pulmonary embolism, to the heart, triggering a heart attack, or to the brain, causing a stroke while you sleep. Older adults are especially vulnerable. With age, veins lose elasticity and valves weaken. Medications like diuretics or sedatives can worsen dehydration and immobility. And chronic illnesses like diabetes or heart disease further increase clotting risk. But here's the danger no one talks about. Many seniors feel just fine right up until the moment disaster strikes. There are no chest pains, no headaches, just stillness. Then the next morning, slurred speech, a frozen arm, or worse, silence that never ends. This habit, harmless on the surface, can steal your mobility, your memory, your voice, or even your life. And the worst part? It happens without warning while you're simply trying to rest. George now lives in assisted care. He can't drive. He needs help with meals and dressing. He told me, "Doc, if I had just known what sitting could cost me, I would have gotten up every commercial break." So here's what I tell every patient over 60. Move. After dinner, set a timer. Every 30 minutes, stand up, stretch your legs, walk to the kitchen, refill your water glass, do something. Your body was designed to move. Blood was meant to flow. And the brain needs that flow to survive the night. Because the price of stillness isn't just stiffness, it's a stroke in your sleep. And speaking of flow, there's something just as dangerous that most seniors skip at bedtime, and it's sitting right in your kitchen sink. Not drinking water before bed could make that clot even deadlier. Let's talk about that next. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now let's move on to point number 2. 2. Not drinking water before bed. It's just water, right? That's what Margaret, one of my longtime patients, thought. She's 75, a retired school librarian from Ohio, always careful about what she eats, takes her medications on time, walks every morning. But one night, she skipped her usual glass of water before bed because she didn't want to get up and use the bathroom at 2 a.m. The next morning, Margaret woke up confused, dragging her left leg, unable to speak properly. She had suffered a minor stroke in the early hours of the morning. A clot had formed while she slept, and it happened because her blood had thickened overnight, silently and invisibly, while she was at rest. You see, as we age, our bodies become less efficient at retaining water. The natural drop in hydration during sleep becomes more dangerous with every passing decade. Blood, without enough fluid, becomes thicker, more sludge than stream, and that's exactly when clots form. Think of your arteries as a garden hose. If there's too little water, pressure builds, movement slows, and blockages form. Now, add in a few common medications, diuretics for blood pressure, sleeping pills that keep you still for hours, and you have a perfect storm for clot formation. What many seniors don't realize is that the early morning hours are prime time for strokes, especially for those who went to sleep even slightly dehydrated. And yet, we hesitate. Why? Because of one common fear: nighttime urination. Yes, waking up at night can be inconvenient, but let me be painfully honest with you. It's far more inconvenient to wake up unable to speak, unable to walk, or worse, to never wake up at all. Margaret now keeps a note next to her bed that says, "Drink water before sleep. My brain needs it." She doesn't skip it anymore. One small glass of water, just 4 to 6 ounces, can mean the difference between a peaceful morning and a catastrophic one. You don't need a whole bottle, just enough to keep your blood moving, your vessels open, and your brain protected through the night. It's a simple act that takes less than 30 seconds, but the price of ignoring it could be your mobility, your memories, your identity. So tonight, when you pass by the kitchen sink, don't ignore that little voice telling you to take a sip. That sip could be your shield against the silent killer that creeps in while you sleep. Because even if you hydrate properly, one wrong move in how you rest your legs could still undo everything. And most seniors do it without realizing, by propping their legs the wrong way. Let me show you why that innocent position could be the next ticking time bomb. 3. Propping legs on a chair or bed the wrong way. It sounds relaxing, doesn't it? Putting your feet up at the end of a long day, letting your legs rest after walking, working, or just standing. But if you're not careful about how you elevate your legs, you could be setting the stage for a devastating stroke while you sleep. That's exactly what happened to Tom, a 78-year-old veteran from Arizona. Tom had always been diligent about his health. He watched his sodium intake, took his medications, and went for daily walks around the neighborhood. But in the evenings, he had a habit. After dinner, he'd sit back in his recliner and prop his feet up on a cushioned stool, his knees bent, his calves resting against the edge for hours. Tom didn't know that this position was compressing his veins, especially behind the knees and thighs, where large blood vessels carry blood back to the heart. Over time, this compression reduced the flow of blood out of his legs. One night, as he slept, a blood clot formed behind his knee. The next morning, when he stood up, the clot moved upward, and just like that, it blocked a critical artery in his brain. He survived, but barely. He now needs a cane to walk. His speech is slow and labored, and he lives with the haunting thought that one small, innocent habit took away the life he used to know. The science behind this is crystal clear. When legs are elevated improperly, such as when your knees are bent too sharply or your legs rest on a hard edge, it can create venous outflow obstruction. That means your blood isn't draining properly. It's pooling, especially in your popliteal vein, which runs right behind the knee, and where blood pools, clots form. This problem is especially dangerous for seniors. Older adults have weaker vein walls and slower circulation. Many are already at risk due to heart conditions or medications. Combine that with hours of evening immobility and restricted blood flow, and it's a recipe for tragedy. Let me be clear. Propping up your legs isn't bad. In fact, it's good when done correctly. But that means keeping your legs slightly elevated above your heart, fully extended, not bent sharply at the knee, and supported from the calf, not compressed behind it. Use a pillow under your lower legs, not under your knees. And never leave your legs propped for more than 30-45 minutes without moving them or adjusting position. Most people don't think twice about their posture in the evening, but for seniors, posture is more than comfort. It's circulation. And if you're compressing the very veins your blood needs to return to your heart, you're not resting. You're silently creating a time bomb in your veins. The cost? A clot, a stroke, a lifetime of rehab, lost speech, or worse. Tom told me, "Doc, if someone had just told me my footrest was hurting my brain, I would have sat differently." So I'm telling you now, sit differently, rest smarter, know what your body needs, because a small shift in position could save your life. But even if you sit perfectly and hydrate well, your next mistake might come the moment you open your eyes in the morning. And it's one most seniors make without hesitation. Jumping out of bed too fast could be the single most dangerous move of your day. Let me explain why. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. Now let's keep going with point number 4. 4. Getting out of bed too quickly in the morning. Most people never give it a second thought. The alarm goes off, you blink a few times, swing your legs over the side of the bed and push yourself up, ready to start the day. But for seniors, that one sudden movement could trigger a stroke within seconds. I'll never forget Dorothy, a 76-year-old widow from Michigan. She'd always been sharp, fiercely independent, the kind of woman who baked pies for her neighbors and still did crossword puzzles in ink. But one morning, she woke up late, panicked about missing a doctor's appointment, and rushed out of bed like she was still 40. By the time she reached the bathroom, she collapsed. She had suffered a transient ischemic attack, TIA, a warning stroke. Luckily, it passed within an hour. But imaging revealed something terrifying. Dorothy had multiple narrowed arteries in her brain and neck, and the sudden shift in posture starved her brain of blood just long enough to cause damage. You see, when you're asleep, your body is in a state of low blood pressure and reduced circulation. Your heart rate slows. Your blood pools in the lower half of your body. And when you suddenly go from lying down to standing, especially as an older adult, your brain doesn't get the blood it needs right away. This condition, orthostatic hypotension, can cause dizziness, fainting, or worse, allow a clot to move quickly upward, straight to your brain. And here's the frightening part. Seniors are often most vulnerable in the first 60 to 90 minutes after waking. This is when cortisol levels rise, blood pressure surges naturally, and clots that may have formed during sleep are at risk of breaking free. Combine that with sudden motion, and it's like pulling the trigger on a loaded gun pointed at your brain. For people with already compromised arteries due to age, cholesterol, or past strokes, the danger multiplies. One abrupt motion can shift the delicate balance between healthy circulation and catastrophic blockage. The price of that one habit? Dorothy now walks slower. She sometimes loses her words mid-sentence. And even though she survived, she told me through tears, I never imagined just getting up too fast could take this much away from me. That's why I tell all my senior patients, wake up gently. Before sitting up, take 3 or 4 deep breaths. Wiggle your toes. Bend your knees. Sit slowly on the edge of the bed. Pause. Let your body catch up to your brain. You've earned the right to move slowly. You've lived decades. Don't lose everything because you forgot that your body needs a moment to remember how to rise. And yet, even if you do everything right when getting up, there's one more habit that could undo it all. And most people miss it completely. Because once you're finally on your feet, the first thing you should check isn't your phone. It's your body. And if you don't check your legs, arms, and face for the subtle clues, they may be the last warning signs your brain ever gives. Let me show you exactly what to look for. 5. Not checking your arms and legs in the morning. Every morning your body speaks. The question is, are you listening? For seniors, those first few minutes after waking are not just a transition between sleep and wakefulness. They are often the only window of time your brain gives you to recognize that something is wrong before it's too late. And if you're not taking a few seconds to check your limbs, your face, your speech, you could be missing a silent warning that could save your life. Let me tell you about Eleanor, a 79-year-old former nurse from Wisconsin. Sharp as a tack, deeply spiritual, and fiercely independent. One morning, she noticed her left hand felt a little tingly, but she brushed it off as sleeping on it funny. She had no pain, no visible weakness, just a mild numbness that faded after her morning coffee. 2 days later, she had a full-blown ischemic stroke. The clot had likely formed days earlier, and her body gave her a subtle warning, but she didn't recognize it. By the time she got to the hospital, the damage had already taken hold. She survived, but now struggles with coordination and memory. Eleanor later told me, I was trained to spot symptoms in others my whole life, but I never thought it would sneak up on me like that. What most seniors don't realize is that the body often whispers before it screams. A slight droop on one side of the face, a finger that doesn't feel right, a foot that's just a little slower to move. These aren't quirks of aging. They're possible signs of a transient ischemic attack, TIA, or mini stroke, which often precedes a major stroke. And you may not even feel ill. That's what makes it so deadly. Every morning, as you rise, give yourself a quick self-check. Stretch your arms out. Can you lift them evenly? Wiggle your fingers and toes. Do they respond as they should? Smile into the mirror. Is your smile symmetrical? Say a full sentence out loud. Is your speech clear and fluid? This routine takes less than a minute, but that minute could be the difference between catching a clot early or facing a lifetime of rehabilitation or worse, dependency. And for those with known risk factors, hypertension, atrial fibrillation, high cholesterol, or a previous stroke, this check isn't optional. It's your daily defense. Eleanor now sets a reminder on her phone every morning. Check before coffee. It's part of her rhythm, and she hasn't missed a day since. Because your body is always giving you signals. The tragedy is, too many people ignore them until they become headlines in the ER. And yet, there's one more mistake that turns a high-risk morning into a guaranteed danger zone. Because even if your body gives you a warning sign, it means little if you're skipping or mistiming the very medications meant to protect your blood. Let's talk about the critical mistake that even the most responsible seniors make, and how it can instantly undo months of hard work. 6. Skipping blood thinners or taking them at the wrong time. It's one of the most dangerous habits I see, yet it happens every single day, even among the most well-meaning seniors, missing a dose of blood thinners or taking them at the wrong time. And the truth is, this one mistake could be the final trigger for a deadly stroke. I think often of Frank, a 74-year-old Vietnam veteran from North Carolina, strong-willed, disciplined, but humble. He was prescribed a daily blood thinner after being diagnosed with atrial fibrillation, a condition that increases stroke risk fivefold. He understood its importance. But one morning, rushing to make a 9 a.m. dentist appointment, he skipped his pill. "I'll take it when I get back," he told himself. He forgot. That evening, while reading the paper, he slurred a few words, then collapsed. Clot had formed in his heart due to his irregular heartbeat and traveled to his brain. The one missed dose left his brain unprotected. Frank survived, but the damage was cruel. He lost partial vision and the ability to write, something he cherished as a lifelong journal keeper. When he visited my clinic in rehab, he told me with tears in his eyes, "One little pill. That's all it took to lose the best parts of me." Here's what many seniors don't realize. Blood thinners are not like pain relievers or vitamins. They work in precise cycles. Timing matters. Consistency matters. If you skip a dose, your body doesn't just pause protection. It becomes dangerously vulnerable. And for many seniors, the most vulnerable window is early morning, when blood pressure naturally rises, heart rhythms change, and any tiny clot formed during the night can move fast. What's more, many people unintentionally reduce the medication's effect by taking it with coffee, forgetting food, or doubling up when they remember too late, risking internal bleeding. Some crush tablets that shouldn't be crushed, or store pills in hot places that degrade their potency. The consequences aren't just strokes. They include gastrointestinal bleeding, uncontrolled clotting, and in some cases, death from a mistake that began with good intentions but ended with a misunderstood routine. So what can you do? Set a daily alarm, use a weekly pill organizer, write it on your calendar, talk to your pharmacist about drug interactions and timing, but most of all, never think of your blood thinner as just another pill. It's not. It's a lifeline. It's your shield against the very thing that steals speech, motion, and memory. Frank now wears a medical alert bracelet with 3 words etched on it. Take the pill. He told me, if I had treated that pill like a parachute instead of a vitamin, I'd still be whole. And he's right. Because for many seniors, stroke isn't about what you feel. It's about what you forget. But here's the good news. Now that you know the 6 silent habits that put your brain at risk, you're not powerless. What matters now is what you do next. And in just a moment, I'll show you how small daily changes can protect your brain for years to come. The silent habits that threaten your brain and what you must do now. If you've made it this far, I want you to take a deep breath and know something important. You still have time. Time to act, to adjust, and to protect the most precious gift you have, your brain. Every one of the habits we've covered might seem small on its own. Sitting too long after dinner, forgetting a glass of water, propping your legs the wrong way, jumping out of bed too fast, skipping a self-check in the mirror, missing a single pill. But for seniors, these aren't small at all. They're life-altering. In my years as a neurologist, I've seen stroke survivors who were once vibrant, playing with grandchildren, volunteering at their church, gardening every Sunday, lose their ability to speak, to move, to remember their own names, not because of trauma or bad luck, but because of small, daily choices made in silence. I've watched spouses cry in hospital rooms saying, "We didn't see it coming." And I've looked into the eyes of patients who survived but lost the life they once knew, relearning how to walk, how to hold a spoon, how to smile on one side of their face again. It doesn't have to be that way. What's beautiful about the human brain is that it responds to care. Hydration, gentle movement, circulation, consistency. These are small, simple acts that, when done daily, build a shield stronger than any hospital visit after the fact. So tonight, don't ignore what you've learned. Let your next evening be different. Walk after dinner. Drink that water. Elevate your legs properly. Rise slowly. Check your face and limbs. Take your medications on time, with care, with purpose. Because you don't get a warning when a clot strikes. You get a second, or you don't. And if you've ever whispered, "I hope I don't become a burden to my family," then hear this: you have more control than you think. Your protection doesn't start in the hospital. It starts in the quiet moments before bed, in the way you treat your body in the morning light, in the small decisions you make today and again tomorrow. You still have your future. Now let's make sure your brain gets to enjoy all of it. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.